Yeah, we're waiting for a quorum real quick. I think everybody's here. Tyler, can you hear me? I'm just messing with some settings.
Yes, I can hear you, but I lost the audio of the room. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, it's 5:30. And I'm calling this meeting of the Zoning Advisory Committee is now called to order. I don't have a gap. Welcome everyone to Brian O'Brien Middle School. I'm Vice President Shannon Coley, and wish me luck because this is my first time leading a meeting. I will try my best. Our President Tyler Rogers is unavailable, but he's here on Zoom. Where'd he go? Hi, Tyler. Oh, okay, I see you. Okay. I'd like to also welcome our General Counsel, Rombardo. And I think we're going to start with, is it roll call? Yes, roll call. Okay. Michelangelo Aranda. Okay. Polly Boardman. Present. Shannon Coley. Present. Melissa Cook Sanford. Kristen DeHaan.
Present. Both of us are present.
Oh, yeah.
Her microphone isn't working.
Aha. Cami Elquist-Leray. Darren Fleck. Ryan Henderson.
Present.
Eddie Hirschman. Nope. Mia Mansfield. Present. Adriana Publico.
Present, and Michael's on his way.
Oh, okay. Thanks. Tyler Rogers.
Present.
Lauren Rushing.
Present.
Great. We have a quorum. Okay, moving on to agenda item 2. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah, right. Moving on to the new agenda item, 1.03, the Pledge of Allegiance. Perhaps Tyler would like to lead us, considering he was the one who added this.
Sure. Looks like there's a flag now. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Pledge allegiance
It's over there. Of the United States.
to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic, which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I want to start out with a reminder that they used to be blue, green public comment cards, which are located, I think, right when you walk in with the agenda. And they should be filled out for action items only and should be given to Shannon here at the end, the other Shannon. Okay. Let's move on to our first item for possible action, 2.01, approval of the minutes of September 19th, 2024, meeting of the Zoning Advisory Committee for possible action. The meeting minutes are included in our pack for review. Are there any questions or comments regarding the meeting minutes? Okay.
Kristen DeHaan, for the record, I move to approve the minutes as written.
Okay.
Adriana Publico, second.
All in favor of approval of meeting minutes, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Great. Meeting minutes approved. Moving on to agenda item 2.02 from the agenda. Presentation, discussion, and possible action regarding proposed enrollment zone adjustments for the 2026-27 school year, potentially impacting the following schools: Stead Elementary, Lemon Valley Elementary, Silver Lake Elementary School, William O'Brien Middle School, and Cold Springs Middle School for possible action. And here to present is Brett Rodella, our long-range school planner, who will give a revised and updated presentation. Brett, is it okay for the committee to ask questions during your presentation, or do you want to wait till after for questions?
During is fine by me, however you'd like to roll with it.
That would be helpful for me if we did it during. Thanks.
Thanks. I'm not getting action with my clicker here. Thanks, everyone. My name is Brett Rodella. I'm the long-range school planner for the school district. I'm responsible for the content being presented tonight. So, quick outline of tonight's presentation. We're going to cover some of our previous meetings' inquiries, followed by new and reviewed discussion. We're going to take a look at our options 2 through 5A, and then afterwards we'll have some discussion and questions. So the September 19th meeting inquiries, an outline for them includes a question about when Mater opened in the area on their 9th Street location, which is a K through 6. That was in fall 2017. And the next items will be a discussion on regional charter schools, historical rezones, also double rezones as it pertains to tonight's subject, transportation and walk zones, distances to current and proposed schools, and traffic patterns. So a quick basis or coverage on charter schools. Not going to go into too much detail on this, but this outlines the charter schools in Washoe County, as well as private schools that we have data on. As a total between charters and privates, we've got about 46 total that we're covering. And we're expected to see enrollment growth to these charters and privates up towards 3,000 students within the next 10 years. I'll let you peruse this table kind of throughout the night and in your free time. Again, just want to kind of set this on your radar. It was something that was asked about last meeting, and I want to give you some perspective on it. The map on the right shows where these charters are distributed throughout the area. And most directly, Sierra Nevada Academy Charter, covering an enrollment of about 300 students, and Mater Golden Valley, those are included in these numbers. Sierra Nevada Academy is located in North Valleys, near Desert Heights Elementary. So, as for historical rezones or the threat of double rezones as it pertains to our subject tonight, there's one area that will experience a double rezone that was originally established in fall of 2021. And that's what is referred to as the ST to SL section, highlighted in the red dotted polygon up there. It's south of Silver Lake Elementary School, south of Silver Lake Road. And in terms of student impact, as I mentioned, this zoning went into effect in the fall of 2021. At the time, the kindergartners at the time are current third graders. When Newstead opens, they will be fifth graders, and as a result, receive grandfathering into the Newstead should they be rezoned from Silver Lake to Stead, or from Stead to Silver Lake. We'll get a little further into grandfathering a little bit here. Next, I wanted to talk about transportation and walk zones, but before I get into this, I wanted to discuss option 2, which is replacing our option 1 from our last meeting. Here's an overview of our option 1. It includes left to right or west to east, that Stead to Silver Lake zone, next followed by the Lemon Valley to Stead North, and that Lemon Valley to Stead South zone. The difference between 1 and 2 is 2 things really. We're expanding that zone, the southern Lemon Valley to Stead zone, a little more eastward, and the call or the reason for doing this is we did some further analysis on the expected development in Lemon Valley Elementary School's enrollment boundary, and per just our own footwork and discussion with our residential consultant, he advised or entertained that we can expect reasonably that all residential development that is slated for construction in Lemon Valley Elementary School could build out within 10 years. Previously, we had development within that zone building out beyond 20 years. So again, condensing all of the development out there into 10 years increased our anticipated student generation from that, hence the reason for expanding that LV to ST South zone a little further east to absorb more of that student generation into Newstead. As for transportation and walk zones, the map up here tells the story of this. These green areas are, the green and the orange are all areas that are going to be impacted by rezones should option 2 be approved or recommended to the board. The green indicates that students in this area will receive busing, and the orange indicates that those students will turn into a walk zone. So just to outline that, the white polygons on this map are the walk zones for each individual school that is within them. To just kind of articulate that. And as far as costs go, there was some questions about costs related to transportation. All of these changes are anticipated to be cost neutral. So we're essentially just putting students on different buses of current routes, not adding transportation at this time. As development picks up and new students come into zone, we might expect to add a bus, add a allocation for transportation, which would increase costs. But as far as the scope now, we expect things to be cost neutral.
Brett,
Yep.
you said there were 2 changes between options 1 and 2, but I didn't catch the second one.
Sorry, the one is the expansion of the zone heading eastward, and then the other is a condensed development timeline. So, as far as distances to current and proposed schools go, the blue lines here indicate a crow flight distance from the center of these potentially impacted polygons to their current school, as well as their proposed. In the blues indicate, the distance to their current school. I drew the Stead to Silver Lake going to Newstead to give us an idea for what that would be, and the yellow indicates if these areas were zoned into new schools, the distance between where they're at and the new school.
Brett?
And yeah.
It's Shannon Coley. Can you go back and tell me about why you expanded? It's something about Lemon Valley. You're talking about new potential developments. Is it north? The new developments will they be north?
Yeah, I'll go a little forward here.
Oh.
I've got a development slide here that
Okay.
tells the story a little more.
Great, I'll pay attention then.
So if you
keep going.
go, I can't see the slide number, but titled residential development, you can see polygons. So there's 3 schools here in this map detail: Silver Lake, Stead Elementary, and Lemon Valley Elementary. And then Cold Springs Middle School and O'Brien Middle School are also partially represented within here. So the area encompassing Lemon Valley Elementary School's enrollment boundary, you can see some sub-polygons within it. They're blue, green, red, or black. The blue indicates approved development that's been approved by either Washoe County or the City of Reno. The red indicates developments that are pending approval. Black has stopped construction because they've either built out or other reasons. And then green is they're currently under construction. So as you can see in that Lemon Valley zone relative to the Stead zone or the Silver Lake, there's a lot more of those development polygons there. Our previous meeting, we had the development impact of new students drawn out beyond 20 years. And again, after discussing with our consultant on the nature of the development out here and doing some drives around the area, especially the word from our consultant, he said that all development within Lemon Valley's enrollment zone could plausibly build out within the next 10 years. So what that means is it impacts our student generation in a closer period of time. We expect more students in a closer period of time than we did previously. So I hope that answers your question.
Perfect.
Great. Not much else to say on this. You know, I think it speaks for itself that any of the proposed changes in option 2 put the proposed zones closer to their proposed school. We're going to talk about traffic patterns. I wanted to get into our live map, so if y'all want to take a look at this map in your free time, it's a good tool for doing this. But as a result of doing some remote meeting, we're going to forego that and reference this map here in talking about our traffic patterns. So when it comes to the Stead to Silver Lake zone on the west or the left side, I saw one plausible, 2 possible pathways to get to the new Stead. One of which is going down Silver Lake Road, cutting across Stead Boulevard to Sky Vista Parkway, down to Trading Post Road and New Stead. The other would involve going down Silver Lake Road to Stead Boulevard, hopping on the freeway to Lemon Drive, hitting Sky Vista. That's the option I did not consider plausible, but possible. And then Stead's, routes to, the Stead to ST to SL section to Silver Lake Elementary is a straight shot just over half a mile away to get to that Silver Lake Elementary School zone. So to give some idea for sort of the intel behind that. The Lemon Valley to Stead North zone towards the top, they've got a pretty straight shot down Sky Vista Parkway, turning a right on Trading Post Road and around the corner to the new school. One thing I did not mention in the transportation slide is that section, the LV to ST North, they're currently bused probably within a quarter mile of Trading Post Road, which is the road turning off of Sky Vista to get to New Stead. They're bused within a quarter mile of that turn, almost passing New Stead to then move on to the neighborhood north of North Valley's Regional Park, where they make their way to Military Road, down to Lemon Drive, and then up Lemon Drive to Lemon Valley Elementary School. Point there is that they're being transported almost right by the new school to go to a school that's relatively much further away. And then when it comes to the LV to ST South section, that's a pretty straight shot up Sky Vista Parkway to Trading Post Road to the new school. So hopefully that answers some questions or provides some clarity on transportation networks. Those are the main arterials. There is some networking throughout the subdivision just north of Newstead. Not a lot, but enough that, you know, if you were at the top of Stead's enrollment boundary, you could work your way just through residential streets to get to the new school, with maybe a little bit of time on Silver Lake Road, but the Silver Lake Road and Sky Vista routes are our main arterials there. Here's some new and reviewed discussion. We talked a bit about residential development, and as we condensed our development timeline in our data, the table on this slide shows the total number of students at each school that we anticipate being generated as a result of that condensed development timeline. So for Lemon Valley Elementary School, within 10 years, we expect upwards of 353 elementary school students to come into the new residences. In the next 10 years, with same development timeline, we expect 15 instead elementary schools enrollment boundary, and currently there is no residential development in Silver Lake Elementary School's enrollment boundary, so no students anticipated there. And then O'Brien is at 240, and Cold Springs, my site's blocked there, but I think it's like 129 or so. 138? Thanks. Sorry, I don't see it up here. 138. A little presentation on school of choice and grandfathering. Admin Regulation 5015 is what supports our school district's school of choice that was recently established this past school year. This supports students and families' options to apply to attend schools outside of their enrollment boundaries. These options are extended up to the point of any school's 90% capacity. And these efforts have been centralized in part to protect at-risk students' abilities to access learning environments that might be beneficial to them. In other words, we don't want kids to be barred from attending schools that might be good for them as a result of factors at a previous school. As far as grandfathering goes, this is supported by Admin Reg 7107. I laid out the section and subsection that addresses grandfathering for fifth graders, meaning that if there's a set of fifth graders that are impacted by a rezone, they can receive an automatic pass into their current school to finish out their time at that school. That includes transportation, and the same goes with current sixth graders who will be eighth graders that would be impacted by the O'Brien to Cold Springs Middle School move. I think that this needs to be articulated in a motion if one was proposed. I do not know the certainty of that, so that might be something for our legal. Real quick review on our guidance from Admin Reg 7107. We're trying to keep subdivisions and small neighborhoods in the same attendance zone to the extent possible. We want to get students to their closest school to the extent possible. Compact attendance zones with few or no islands. We want to allow growth within enrollment boundaries and changing demographics. We want to comply with vertical matriculation feeder patterns, alignments with middle school and high school as much as possible, and avoid placing transportation burdens on diversity subgroups. And to get into our options, of which we have 5. We talked about option 2 previously tonight. In addition to the sort of geospatial aspects of it, in this slide also in the green boxes show the total number of students within those areas. Inside the parentheses, those numbers indicate how many students are in these areas attending their zone school. So for the ST to SL zone, we have 94 kindergartners through 5th graders. 58 of which attend Stead Elementary School, which they're zoned for.
And the others already attend Silver Lake?
No.
Okay.
I think I don't know what the numbers are offhand. It's not a substantial amount of students attending Silver Lake. The rest are at various schools in North Valleys, some attending district charters, some attending online programs. So it includes all students within our focus group here. So quick shot of the after view of option 2, that ST to SL on the left side, the Lemon Valley to Stead North and South.
Hey Brad, can you hear me?
Yep.
Quick question on this before and after, just so I want to understand. The polygon to the left, it's what about ST to SL?
Yeah, Stead to Silver Lake.
Just so I understand, that change will also change the feeder of where those folks go into middle school, correct?
Thanks for pointing that out. That is correct. So currently those students are zoned currently for O'Brien. This shift would put them into Cold Springs Middle School.
But changing that section, both they've been rezoned recently and will change their middle school feeder.
That's correct. And again, the only students that will be impacted by that rezone will be 5th graders at the time of New Stead's opening, who will receive an automatic grandfathering into New Stead, I think, provided the motion is made for that. Don't quote me on that. I'm not sure.
Okay, thanks for the clarity.
Thanks.
So those, Shannon Coley for the record, so those kids in 5th grade, grandfathered in, go to Newstead,
Yep.
will go to Cold Springs in middle school.
That's correct.
Okay.
And it was mentioned in the slide about grandfathering. Current 6th graders attending O'Brien will be 8th graders the year that this change would go into effect. They would receive a grandfathering to attend 8th grade at O'Brien with transportation.
Did you say just the 8th graders?
That 8th graders at that time, because they're current 6th graders, and by the time we get to 26, 27, they'll be in 8th grade. So
Okay. Yep.
here's a outline or summary of what the numbers do. At the top is a table reflecting no change. The bottom table reflects what enrollments are anticipated to do with these changes. The red line there indicates the start of New Stead and these enrollment boundary changes. Also, during that 26-27 school year, we have Mater Academy of Northern Nevada, Golden Valley going into effect, which we anticipate a fairly substantial amount of students going there from the school district. I think one thing I'd like to point out here is the balance of enrollments between Lemon Valley Elementary School and New Stead. Around the timeline of 2031 to 33, the facilities modernization plan has it that Lemon Valley will have a brand new school constructed to replace their current facility. I guess the advantage to making this move would be that you're already setting up zoning for Lemon Valley and New Stead should you make this change. I think to a degree that balances it most equally.
Brett, one question. We're going to think about sending the kids Turtle Creek, what that's called?
That's on the west side,
Yeah.
the Stead STSL.
Them going to Silver Lake. Do you know facility modernization plans for that, just so we can give those kids maybe a little hope?
Off the top of my head, I do not know what the timeline is for Silver Lake. My understanding is that they'll receive some renovation, possibly expansion. I'd say plausibly expansion. That's something I think our office should be able to follow up with you somehow. I don't know through email or what, but
Okay,
sorry I don't have the,
that's okay.
expect some renovation at Silver Lake though, for sure, and plausible expansion. So option 3 is very similar to option 2, with exception to that Lemon Valley to Stead North section. We're not going to include that in this option for the sake of seeing what the numbers do. Everything else is identical, the ST to SL and the LV to ST South. Here's the before and after. And here's the numbers on this scenario. You still get a decent balance between Lemon Valley and Newstead. Silver Lake's consistent with the previous option. Cold Springs and O'Brien remain the same as the previous option. Option 4 indicates no changes being made. So enrollment boundaries will remain the same, as will our student enrollment projections. Little about options 5 and 5A before we dive into them. These two options are going to consider Silver Lake subdivision and Sierra Sage apartments on the west side of Stead Boulevard. The logic with these is exploring what the impact would be should we rezone everything west of Stead into Silver Lake. And really the idea is respecting the main arterial of Stead Boulevard, being not the most friendly road to cross for elementary school students. So option 5 is titled ST to SL-XL. It includes that Silver Lake subdivision and Sierra Sage apartments in their entirety. Also at the very tip top, sort of northeast corner of that ST to SL-XL section, are two unit duplexes. Just pointing that out, that I think there's one student elementary school that would be impacted by this move. But as you can see, there's a sort of substantial difference between the ST to SL-XL and our baseline ST to SL in terms of students impacted. Everything else as far as the Lemon Valley to Stead sections are consistent as with option 2 and 3. Here's the after. In review of this map, we would probably take the line adjacent to Stead Boulevard and move it directly north, moving the golf course and that industrial building into Silver Lakes. For the sake of a clean polygon, more than anything, there wouldn't be students impacted by that, but just pointing that out. And here's the charts on what enrollments look like as a result of that move. Silver Lake, stands out, pretty obvious that it gets hot to beyond capacity and just up to capacity. And Newstead in this scenario would be arguably underutilized. Option 5A, very similar. We're just shaving off the Sierra Sage Apartments, referring to this as ST to SLL. Still a substantial amount of students impacted relative to our option 2 and 3. Here's the after. I guess I didn't get those polygons out of there like I should have, but and the brush fires for the ST to SL large. Again, Silver Lake coming in uncomfortably hot. Newstead, a little more underutilized than I think we can do. And that concludes our options. Quick summary. Option 2, we've got the Stead to Silver Lake baseline with Lemon Valley north and south. That south section has been expanded and our development timeline has been condensed in all of these options. So option 1, as of last week, is obsolete. Option 3 includes Stead to Silver Lake baseline with Lemon Valley to Stead south only. We've eliminated that Lemon Valley to Stead north. Option 4, make no enrollment boundary changes. Option 5 is Stead to Silver Lake XL, and then everything Lemon Valley to Stead remains consistent with option 2. And then option 5A is the Stead to Silver Lake large, and consistencies with Lemon Valley to Stead north and south.
Hey Brett, Polly Boardman. In the options, I don't see one that's like leaving the ST to SL instead and then the other one's moving. I noticed in option 2, which is, moving all 3 of those, Silver Lake is the one that's the most crowded. So in a way, does it make sense to have an option of that ST to SL staying at Newstead to kind of balance the 3? Also, it wouldn't have them going up to Cold Springs. But I just wondered, did you look at that option and was it pretty bad? Or?
I didn't calculate that option, and it's a great question. It's a great observation, and I would argue one that we should look at.
Okay, thanks.
Can you repeat that, Polly, so I catch that?
Sorry. So on option 2, it's all 3 groups. And when you look at the numbers after, Lemon is 77% for 22-26, Silver Lake is 89%, and Newstead is 74%. So Silver Lake is clearly like the most crowded out of the 3. But that section that's the ST to SL, the skinny thing, that we already moved before, and now if they go to Silver Lake, they'd have to bus up to Cold Springs. I'm wondering about that not being included, and then just looking at instead the Lemon Valley moves instead of that one. Because it might.
No move at all from ST to SL.
Yeah. I don't know, just a thought.
I'll say this much as if we end up with a meeting in November, we'll look at that.
So really quick, the mic's not working, but Tammy Zimmerman, Chief Facility Organization. So completion is anticipated. So you can record it. So for the record, Tammy Zimmerman, Chief Facilities Management Officer. I just wanted to answer your Silver Lake modernization question. It's anticipated to be completed in June of 2030 as approved in the CIP and set out in the modernization plan approved by the Board of Trustees in December of 2023.
Since you're here, Tammy, I was curious, what happens to the Stead land, the current Stead land, when Newstead is built?
So we're exploring options with partners as well as our own internal needs to see what happens with that. There's been no definite plans for it. We know that our district always needs early childhood classrooms. We have spaces for some of our departments as well, so we're exploring all of those options, and there will be probably quite a few partners mixed in there with us.
Shannon Coley, Tammy, quick question. So you're saying Silver Lake and Lemon Valley will both be opening new ones at the same time? Or remodeled or new?
So Silver Lake receives a modernization, which is an addition to bring it up to our current ed specs, which may be some spaces, maybe some additional classrooms. There's some wiggle room into that. We'll also be looking at those projections if there are development growths at that time to include in that, right? We want to make sure that we right-size it and we provide all those opportunities. Now, Lemon Valley gets a rebuild per the facility modernization. So it'll be either, we've flipped the campus at Vaughan, we've flipped the campus here at O'Brien. It could be that. It could be within that enrollment boundary someplace else as well. We haven't gotten far enough down that path to identify it, but it gets a brand new building.
But not at the same time as STED.
I believe, and I don't have it in my 5-year CIP here, so I want to say that it's a little bit outside of that 5 years for Lemon Valley. But I can definitely research and just make sure and go back to the facility modernization to give you that date.
Okay, I think Brett said it earlier. I wrote it down. He said it was the 2030, 2031.
Brett Rodella, yeah, it's around the FMP states 2031 to 33 timeframe.
Okay.
So Tammy, are any of the after-school programs affected by enrollment at elementaries, like at the middle schools, where they lose some of their electives with the enrollment when it decreases? Do elementaries have anything like that?
Could you maybe clarify that? So you're talking about before and after school care at the elementary schools?
Or does enrollment at elementaries, does that affect any of the programs that they might have?
If you're referring to before and after school care, it could affect some of that. That is taken care of in a department that works with our partners, whether it be cities of Reno, City of Sparks, Boys and Girls Club, or other outside agencies to provide before and after school care at those sites as needed.
Okay, thank you. And is the new STED going to be on Silver Dollar? Is that their address, or is it Cloudburst?
It's actually the address of the school. We call it Silver Dollar, and we have forever, but it will not be the actual address street for it once we've talked to addressing, because the front door doesn't sit on Silver Dollar.
Okay, thanks.
Tyler, did you have your hand up?
Good time. Mr. Tyler Rogers for the record. Right, Tammy, I think two-part question. One, I can't see how many folks have joined us tonight, but I think it would be helpful if you could kind of restate the problem that staff has identified as sort of why rezoning here makes sense, or is this a subject? And then as part of that, I'm just curious if staff has a recommendation amongst the options on the screen.
Yeah, I can give you my opinion. As far as an official opinion from our office, I don't think we've arrived at that. I think when it comes to shifting and balancing enrollments, this STED to Silver Lake and the Lemon Valley, our option 2, it's always just kind of stuck out in my head as something that's made sense from a standpoint of balancing and shifting enrollments appropriately, especially pertaining to geography. The students nearby Silver Lake not having to cross over to STED, you'd have to ask their opinions on that to get their view on what their preference is. But I guess from a geospatial standpoint, it makes sense. as far as the problem we're trying to answer here, it is in optimally filling new stead. And I think too, taking an opportunity to look at the current enrollment boundaries to assess if there's some optimizations that can be made with them. Does that answer your question? I hope so.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks. Let me point out on option 2 real quick, that LV to Stead North section, the neighborhood that is directly west of it and a little northwest is Sky Vista Village subdivision. So what I'm saying is that LV to ST North is transported to a school relatively further away from its adjacent subdivision, or its even the subdivision that it is a part of. So I think that factor carries some weight when it comes to the decision to rezone or not for that area.
Anyone else? Nope.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it would be interesting to hear what public comment says, because, knowing what they like, so.
Okay. Are there any public comments on this, Shannon?
No.
Interesting. Okay. So I think we should deliberate. Nope, there's no public comment. And no emails sent in either.
Thank you. Cami Larray, for the record. So I guess what I'm having a hard time deciphering across all the tables and all of the heat maps, if you will, understanding, I hear what you're saying geospatially about what's the best, and this is, some of the preferences that are starting to shake out within your office. Could you give me a feel, or if you have it, of what these different options might do to protect like a student-teacher kind of ratio because of space, or is that a factor in these reorgs at all?
If I'm understanding your question right, we can look at options 5 and 5A, for example. The student-teacher ratios, I don't anticipate this affecting. That's something that's made at a board level as well as a state, like K through either second or third, the state sets the ratios for, and then beyond that, it's all board. So in terms of student-teacher ratio, I would not anticipate that, but I would say that option 5 and 5A, it endangers Silver Lake from, having to move into portables and things like that get a little more uncomfortable for teaching, so.
That's what I'm seeing at it too. I'm looking at the heat map and wondering, like, when it gets to that kind of capacity, then we're starting to push into that kind of area where there might be some compromise in that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And 5 and 5A, honestly, were submitted here to show that we've done the work and the analysis on this. It's not something that we would recommend.
Michelangelo Aranda. You may not know the answer to it, but what was the attempt to solicit public input on this and advertising? I know it's hard to deliberate when there's not a lot of the people affected by it not in the room.
Understood. As far as I know, Ed Connect went out to, I think, all students potentially impacted. And outside of that, I do not know if there was anything else.
Kristen DeHaan, for the record. I agree with Polly that I'd really like to know if we kept that Stead to Silver Lake, if we kept that going to Stead, if that would balance those numbers out a little bit more, it might be better.
I don't disagree. I think until you can see the numbers, and you're not going to have a complete decision, essentially.
This is a question more for Tyler, or our school leadership in the room. Have we heard anything from schools or PTOs, PTAs? No strong opinions?
Say a little more on the Silver Lake rezone. I noticed in the board meeting minutes, there was some discussion about when this rezone occurred in 2021. The decision was made in spring of 2020. There was some discussion about Silver Lake families being real tied to the school and things like that. However, there were other areas of that Silver Lake enrollment boundary that were impacted. So I don't know if they were talking specifically of that area south of Silver Lake Road or not. I don't want to add more confusion to the discussion, but I did want to just kind of mention that.
I was there when we did that, and my recollection is that it was not families south of that line. It was a couple neighborhoods north and northwest, maybe, of the school that were really concerned about transportation issues, really, getting to and from school and to work. Yeah.
Thanks.
Melissa Cook. Offer some thoughts as we deliberate.
Yeah, Melissa Cook for the record. So just kind of looking at our options and options that make more sense, just looking at balancing numbers. Option 4, there's no change, but we know that we need to make a change. Option 5 and 5A leave us with a very underutilized, brand new school, very underutilized, and then some overcrowding. And so for me personally, option 5 and 5A are not really options. So I think that we need to look at option 2, 3, and then possibly a 6 with this one skinny polygon kind of numbers teased out to be able to really make an informative decision as a committee.
Agreed.
I agree with Melissa. I just wonder if taking out that polygon that we're talking about balances the elementary but leaves the imbalance at the middle school level. But I'd be curious to see the numbers.
That sounded like a motion to me.
I will piggyback from a middle school perspective really quick on Adriana's that we do need to factor in what it looks like at the middle school, because with our last rezoning, that was very much a huge factor, and that it does affect what middle schools are able to offer when we get into taking away allocations. It does provide a lot of difficulties for middle schools to provide electives for students, so we do need to look at that. And I would like to make a motion that we eliminate option 4, 5, and 5A from our considerations, stick with option 3, 2, and 3, and bring in an additional option 6.
Maybe, Polly Boardman, I think we should still keep no change on the table.
I agree.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that we're not required to make a change, so I think we should keep it on the table because it's more even than some of the other options.
But what he said about the Lemon Valley expansions, it's going to have, if they get overcrowded, then we'll have to go back to the drawing board of trying to make that not overcrowded. And what will Stead look like? Will it be full enough?
We might, but in a month, we might have more information that makes no change a better option. We don't know. So it's good to just know it's there if we want it.
Okay, so you have a motion on the table. Are you offering a friendly amendment to the motion to leave no change? Yeah. Do you accept the friendly amendment to your motion that there will be no change remaining?
Yes, so can we rechange our motion or make a amendment,
right,
friendly
so the
amendment, change that we're gonna leave option 2, 3, 4, and have an additional option 6
Bless you.
when we have more data, and take out option 5 and 5A.
And then you need,
Is there a second?
Can I make one more friendly amendment? I really want to see if there's any way we can solicit more public input. So I don't know what that looks like in terms of the amendment, or if that could be put in there, but
well, that's not really an amendment to the motion. That's something that staff can do, but staff can take note of your desire and try to figure out a way to
strike my
to do
friendly
that.
amendment. I second with a friendly ask to staff if we can advertise more.
Okay. All those in favor of the motion?
And then you want to. So is there any discussion on the motion?
From here or there?
From here.
public?
No public comments done.
Okay.
Just from here.
Is there any discussion on the motion and the friendly?
Okay, seeing none.
Seeing none? All those in favor, say aye.
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 Those opposed? Motion passes. We're on to item 3.01, public comment. Are there any public comment?
No.
Okay, moving on to 3.02, announcement of the next meeting, which is necessary, will be November 21st, 2024. Do we know where? It wasn't, we want to have it? There was no location.
Staff will work with the president.
Okay.
Tammy Zimmerman, Chief Facilities Management Officer. We left it at either Silver Lake or Lemon Valley, so you may choose, you and the chair may choose to direct us where you would like to have it at.
Would you like us to make that now?
No, you can't. It's not an action item, but you and the chair get that discretion. So when we meet, you guys can direct us as to what you'd like to do.
Terrific, thank you. All right. So it's 3.03, meeting adjourned. Thank you.